So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra versus the iPhone 17 Pro Max speed test. Let's go ahead and begin with a boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one can get there first. Now, we are looking at the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy. On the left, 12 gigabytes of RAM. On the right, Apple A19 Pro chip, 12 gigabytes of RAM. iOS 26.3.1 on the right. Android 16 combined with One UI 8.5. On the left, and Samsung says, it's my time. I'm going to wait on you, iPhone. And I do have a ton of apps loaded up on both. I transferred over all the data from my Galaxy S25 Ultra. So it does have a lot of stuff on it as well. Not just because I've had the 17 Pro Max for a while, but we're going to give that first W to the Samsung. You can kind of see just on that angle, those anti-reflective properties still very strong. And now, if you haven't seen already with the new Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, you've probably seen ads on it or whatever, but seeing it on video, the actual privacy display is something to behold. Take a look at that. That is just something. I'm still not over this. It's going to be a while before I'm unimpressed with this feature. I just think this is great, and I think a lot of phones should adopt this technology in the future if they're able to. So that's going to be nice to see how this comes along. So we'll do biometrics now. When it comes to actually unlocking them, the Galaxy S26 Ultra is faster because look at that, I'm already in. Now my iPhone 17 Pro Max is unlocked, but you kind of just look at it and you're in. So both of them very fast though, but I would take the iPhones for convenience. However, you do have your in-display fingerprint sensor there, which again, like I say in all my speed tests, if you don't even have to look at it, I mean, I could just be talking to you, whatever, and I'm in the phone. So I think you're getting into the Galaxy S25 or S26 Ultra faster. Give me a couple days. I'm going to be saying S25 probably by mistake because I'm so used to holding that phone and this kind of still feels similar. So I got to get used to saying 26 Ultra, but it's definitely taking, the 26 Ultra is taking it there on the biometrics. Now, when it comes to general day-to-day performance, just like I talked about last year with S25 Ultra, S26 Ultra is just carrying over that really great performance Samsung has been working on. Very, very snappy. And now, if you look closely on One UI 8.5, we talked about this in my One UI 8.5 videos a while ago. But the icons, they just look like little stickers. Like I don't know, they just look like they pop off the display. It looks really nice in person. It's almost like a 3D effect. I don't know how to describe it. You'll have to see it in person. The icons look insanely nice up close. Also, when you're kind of just navigating across, you're going to find that Samsung has really found a great balance between speed and animation look. So you'll notice that throughout this phone right here, like it's smooth but also very snappy. So nice carryover from the S25 Ultra, which was also an amazing performer. We will do a speed test to that one as well. Now on the iPhone, I think that liquid glass is definitely very polished, very nice. And I also think that the software itself is pretty smooth, but I do find it to navigate a little bit slower. It tends to move along just, I wouldn't say slow, but definitely moves along at a pace that is more relaxed. That's the best way I could say it, like a relaxed look. A relaxed, premium, polished look on the iPhone over here, whereas the Samsung is looking like it's going for all-out speed. Now, I'm actually going to put the case on the Galaxy S26 Ultra for the test because it's on such an angle. I don't want to be hearing that the entire video. Now with the iPhone, I don't have to put it in a case for it to stay flat because that plateau allows it to kind of not really rock much on the table. So it kind of sits pretty flat there overall. All right, guys, so everything is closed out for both phones. Let's go ahead and head into the first application, Calendar. I think, was that the iPhone? It looked like the iPhone's animation looked a little snappy, but Samsung might have been there first. Let's go into Clock here. I think that was the iPhone, honestly. Let's go over here and we'll kind of just go through these. You'll see with liquid glass, it kind of has like this magnification effect down there. They kind of brought these icons into this little area as well on this one. And I noticed that inside of these apps, there's like these little effects now in every area in One UI 8.5, making the phone look a little bit nicer. Let's go into the calculator. I think that one was Apple. Let's go into Play Store. That one was Samsung. And let's go ahead and head up out of here. We're going to go into weather on both phones and faster on the Samsung. I do like how Samsung has this little like person that will change like depending on the weather. It'll show you like what to wear. Like it'll literally show a person with an umbrella, putting a jacket on, depending on the weather. That's pretty cool. Let's go into Chat GPT and you'll see faster on the Samsung, and we have a proper number row right there. That's something I wish Apple would put on their phones already. Let's go into Gemini on both phones and you'll see that was first on the left. Better be, I mean, that's the Android phone. Let's go on the Copilot now. And that was faster on the left as well. And we'll go into Groupon on both, faster on the left as well. So Apple has some serious competition right here. Let's head up out of here. We're going to go into Instagram. Some people are going to say, no, it's the other way around. Samsung has some serious competition, but we'll see. Or the other way around, you know, Apple doesn't have as many. You know what I'm saying? Like people who are more on the one side is going to say the other side is the one that is not as good, and vice versa. You get my point. Even though these phones are all good these days, people they definitely still like what they like, and that there's no problem with that. At least we got competition. At least we got options. You'll see right there on the left is the Samsung. Let's go to some technology news, and you'll see. As you're in here, pretty much fine. As we scroll through, Samsung scrolling very fast, Apple a little bit slower, but launching in was pretty decent. Let's go into Subway City, and we'll see what happens here for Subway Surfer City. This is like the newer version of this, and Apple has won this. Let's go ahead and hit run, but that was barely nothing. And you'll see, I like that punch hole more on the left in Dynamic Island. I think it's way out of the way comparatively. So the Samsung display feels to me like the better display for daily use. It just feels more immersive to me. Let's go over here. The iPhone display is still really good as well. It's also a Samsung made display, so it's also strong. But I just like the punch hole. It's just a little bit smaller. I would still like a UDC display as long if they could get the cameras to work, you know, really good with that under display camera. But let's go ahead and play on both of these. And Samsung in there. A little bit slow there for this to respond on the right. So I'm going to give that one to Samsung. We'll go into Race the Sun. And you'll see right there that Race the Sun did go to, I believe it was the left. This is so close. I might be calling some of these wrong. It's so close, actually. And I'm just commentating. You guys can tell me if one of the applications opened a little faster and I called it wrong. Let me know down below in the comments. I just like to see how these perform every time we get the new ones, because it's extremely interesting to see how the top dogs perform next to each other. And you'll see that one went to Samsung, but it was kind of going into that battle already. Let's go into Call of Duty, and let's go ahead and go into Call of Duty on both phones and see which one can get there first. And every year we tend to do the speed test and see in the gaming department usually shows which phone is ahead, and we do have to sign in quickly here on the Samsung, so that probably slowed us down a little bit. But overall, the iPhone was in the lead there. And let's go ahead and just kind of start a match up here. We'll go to start over here. And when you do multiplayer and stuff like that, both of them are going to be a really good experience in this department. It really just doesn't matter which phone you go with, but the vapor chamber is bigger in the Samsung, and the iPhone one is also better, and bigger. So that's really good. Let's go into the Destiny Rising now and see which one can get this game first. Let me zoom out a bit. We're getting a little bit of rainbowing on the, look like on the iPhone. And this game takes a little bit of time, so we'll see which one can get this thing open first. Looks like the iPhone in the win, but only by a little. And I honestly think it's just going to really come down to which game was developed better for which platform, because I noticed that they kind of flip-flop in certain games. Like some games tend to perform better on the iPhone. Some games launch and perform better on the Samsung. So it does really come down to that. You'll see right here, Asphalt 9. And we'll see what happens here. That one goes to the iPhone. So the iPhone took that one by a pretty healthy margin. So let's go into 3D Mark. Faster on the iPhone. Geekbench 6, a little bit faster on the iPhone. Speed test, faster on the iPhone. And we'll go into InShot, faster on the Samsung. So I think the iPhone was taking more of the games. It might have been doing that. Also, the Samsung was taking more of the base app. So it's pretty close here between both of them. I do think the iPhone was outshining the Samsung in the gaming department, but still, both of these are extremely powerful and they feel nearly like the same product type, just like which one do you want to use, iOS or Android with One UI. It really does come down to that. Now let's get on to the RAM management. So let's go back through the apps, and I noticed they're just so incredibly buttery smooth on the animations here for the Samsung. Now I didn't enable Good Lock yet. I'm going to leave this one default, but overall it's been very incredibly smooth here going between the applications. So I think you're going to be having a really good time here on your Galaxy, no matter, you know, what you're doing. And I thought the 16 gigs of RAM, they should have put it, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like 12 is going to be an issue whatsoever. It wasn't really a major issue with the S25 Ultra, but you know, for future proof, I always like to see upgrades in those departments, but it's just really phenomenal. And we already went through them, and look, I can go through them again and they still have things opened. So not a real big issue. I mean, Call of Duty left the match, but if I go through some of these apps again, you know, it's just holding everything. And then if you go ahead and split screen, you're gonna have plenty of power to go ahead and do that. Something you can't even do on the iPhone. And then if you bring in another application, you'll be able to do that as well. You'll be able to pull the S Pen out. I mean, the multitasking power is legit on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. It's like a mobile powerhouse slab phone in your pocket. It really is phenomenal. Now, one of the things I like about iOS is its simplistic nature, but I always liked its animations. They've always looked really smooth to me. And I always felt like Android competitors had to catch up. But nowadays, they got a little bit snappier with some recent updates, but they're not necessarily blowing me away anymore. They're still smooth. They're still good. But most Android phones now have this. And it looks like we're getting reloads. So what the heck's going on here with the iPhone 17 Pro Max? I'm already going to call this an L to the 17 Pro Max because it closed some more applications than the Galaxy had closed. So yeah, definitely the Galaxy has won this test right here, mostly for that. But Apple still has some really nice polished looking animations, but still, I gotta say that it closed a little bit too many there. That's a little bit strange. So I'm gonna have to give that one to the Galaxy. All right, guys, Samsung has defeated Apple in Geekbench 6, specifically in the multi-core. That single core doesn't matter much to me here in this result because look how close that single core is, but look how different that multi-core is. That's 1,000 points better. So yeah, the Samsung is really bringing the heat with the performance this year. Let's go ahead and take a look at 3D Mark. We're going to do a 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme. What we're looking to see is the graphics. Now, the S25 Ultra was already beating the iPhone 17 Pro Max in this test. So I'm really excited to see if this is going to max out this phone, maybe get better than 100% of devices on the market. We'll see. But Samsung is really bringing the performance. And so if you're looking for a top tier gaming device, vapor chamber, but you also like a flagship premium feel and a great everyday business phone with a good ecosystem, you should really be considering this S26 Ultra. We already know that you're getting that power and that ecosystem with Apple, but if you're looking for something alternatively, this is definitely one of the best years ever to try out the S20, the Galaxy line, the S Ultra line. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I'll be back to see the results because I've been very happy with the performance of the iPhone 17 Pro Max as well. So I'm excited to see where we're at. I'll be back when they're done. So the Samsung's just sitting around waiting. And look at that. Better than 97% of devices on the market. I think the S25 Ultra was like better than 95%. So already crushing, but not quite what I thought. I thought it was going to be like better than 99%, but there is actually one mobile device that does better than pretty much any phone, and that is the iPad Pro series with the M series chips. They're putting Mac level chips in there, so that makes sense. 93% better, so 4% better score according to this. You could see, but 7 frame rates per second difference. Will you notice this day to day? Probably not. Is it that extra headroom nice when you're deciding what you're going to put your money into? I like the extra headroom for long term, and now the Samsung is giving you extra long software support. It's kind of down to just, do you want iOS or One UI? It really does come down to that. You'll see over here, $64.95 versus $52.93. That's a pretty substantial jump. So I probably would say the Samsung is likely going to outperform in gaming. So definitely nice scores there. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and run the Wi-Fi speed test. Now, we'll start with the Samsung, but I really like doing these tests because you never know. You know, they can go either way with this. So let me make sure we're on the same server over here while we're waiting on this one. And let's see if I can find it here. Looks like the Samsung pulling in some really good download speeds. A little bit better than what I seen on the previous S25 Ultra. I was getting like 1100 down there. Similar on the upload, but again, Samsung really does a good job in this area of connectivity, whether it's 5G, Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter. Look at this. We got a new high score inside of speed tests. Congratulations, S26 Ultra. You have now become the king of this area. Now the iPhone is on the same exact Wi-Fi, and it's pulling in some nice scores as well. Is it going to top the Samsung though? Doesn't look like it. So this is what I'm talking about. It always just seems to pull in just a little bit more than the iPhone in these departments. We'll see right here. Upload should be about the same, closing the gap there, almost 41. Yes, we're gonna finish that upload right about the same, maybe slightly better, slightly worse. So the Samsung has won that test right there by just a little. So iPhone has definitely done a really good job catching up in connectivity, so it's not really a decision maker anymore, but Samsung still the king of this connectivity area, whether it's 5G, Wi-Fi, I don't care. It's a beast in this area. Believe me, I've been testing these phones for years. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the camera speed before we get up out of here. So we'll hit the cameras in 3, 2, go. And that was faster to launch there on the iPhone, closing them out. Let's see if that was just because it was the first launch. 3, 2, go. A little bit faster on the iPhone, and we'll try it for a third time. 3, 2, go. Yeah, iPhone launches that camera faster. Shutter speed, still faster on the iPhone. I'm noticing that right away. Yeah, the iPhone still has faster shutter speed, so still not better on the Samsung when it comes to speed of the camera. Also, there's no camera button on the Samsung, so I do prefer iPhone for camera launching and camera shutter speed. It's still better there. Also, you can use action button for that, but Samsung does allow you to use double click like that to go ahead and get to the camera. That's a pretty standard Android feature, though it's not only a Samsung thing. But yeah, I'll have to give that one the iPhone on the camera. So wrapping it up, what is the conclusion? Well, in the actual boot up test, the Galaxy S26 Ultra did win that boot up test. It also was faster in biometrics and applications. It was pretty close on both. The iPhone won some of the games. The Samsung was winning some of the apps. In the RAM management, the Samsung was better. In the benchmarks, the Samsung was better. In the Wi-Fi speed test, the Samsung was better. And then the camera, the iPhone was a little bit snappier with that shutter and opening time. So I think the Samsung won more areas. So I think it's the phone that's going to feel faster day to day. But the iPhone is no slouch. It's an absolute beast as well. And they both do have really good cooling this year, both aluminum bodies. On the edges on the Samsung Armor aluminum unibody here with the cooling in here, and the biggest cooling vapor chamber ever on the Ultra right there. So either way you go, superior performance powerhouses here. Samsung probably taking that lead a little bit back there from iPhone. So I'm waiting to see what's going to come with the 18 Pro Max. So that was episode 1 of the Galaxy S26 Ultra versus iPhone 16 Pro Max. We'll be doing updated episodes in the future, including other phones. We're going to put them through the ringer. The S26 Ultra, we're going to go against most of the phones that you might be upgrading from. So be subscribed, stay tuned, and let me know if you enjoyed this content right here. Thumbs up. I'll catch you on the next one. Any questions, comments, concerns, you know what to do right down below. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.